Welcome to the SEC Unfiltered channel. Sorry, excuse me, I had a cough in my throat. And this Saturday night, we're midnight, 12:07 on the East Coast, and this NCAA tournament reaction show, folks. We have 4 phenomenal SEC games, 3-1 today. Everybody talking a little bit about the SEC being a little overrated. I was waiting to see till after Sunday. Still, I think it's too early to say yes or no, if we're being honest. I know everybody was fired up about the Big Ten being 10-0, but the SEC, to today's point, 3-1 again. Apologize for the quick cough in the intro, folks. But remember, this SEC basketball reaction, just like all of them were this year, folks, presented by our proud title sponsor, FANDUEL. Visit FANDUEL.com/SECU to join today and get started with $200 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet, folks. Again, appreciate you joining us on this Sunday morning. If you're on the East Coast, folks, if you're in Atlanta, Georgia, like myself, the Auburn Tigers will be in Atlanta, Georgia, next week to face the Michigan Wolverines in the South region. So we have that for sure. And let's start off with that. Let's get into that. Auburn gets the 82-70 win over the Creighton Blue Jays. Auburn shoots 45% from the field, 36% from beyond the arc. Creighton 47% from the field, 44% from the arc. That's what kept Creighton in the game. Now remember, Creighton was up 37-35 at halftime, folks. But I think anyone who, just like you beautiful listeners, if you're listening to this show, you're probably a true basketball expert. You're picking some stuff up from us, at least I hope, all seriousness. You felt like Creighton was up at 2 at half, but you still liked the way the flow of the game was going in Auburn's direction. Again, you didn't think Creighton could sustain their three-point shooting in the second half. Now they did, but it put so much pressure on them offensively. They almost had to make every shot because they were getting no second chance opportunities. I'm looking at it right now. 4 offensive rebounds tonight for Creighton. 4. Auburn out-rebounded them in total. They were plus 10, 37-27, but only 4 offensive rebounds for Greg McDermott, Ryan Kalkbrenner, and the boys. That was where the game was won. And again, you even felt that at the end of the first half where you're like, man, Auburn's really had to start turning it over. Auburn only ended up with 7 turnovers, keep it to single digits in today's college basketball with this tempo. Yeah, you're going to win a lot of basketball games. But I thought the game was won on the boards. Again, Auburn shot better before in games, 46% from the field, 36% from beyond the arc. Again, I think rebounding plus 10 rebounded margin, and then you only give up 4 offensive boards. That's really good, folks. That's really good. And you won by 8. You're plus 18 in points in the paint, 42-24. I thought they really wore down Ryan Kalkbrenner. I know he ended up with 18 points, but he looked exhausted. Dylan Caldwell did a good job on him. Obviously, Janai Broome did a good job for him. How about Todd Pettiford? It's a guard tournament, folks. It's a guard tournament. We said it after the game in Nashville, the semifinal loss to Tennessee, for Auburn to hit its ceiling, which is to win the national title on Monday night in San Antonio in a couple weeks. Todd Pettiford's going to have to be playing his best basketball. Todd Pettiford's going to have to be playing his best basketball, I think, to help him, along with Denver Jones. It's a guard-driven tournament, and they know what they're getting out of Janai Broome every night, most nights, a walking double-double. But Todd Pettiford's going to set the temperature for that team, I think, ultimately moving forward and heading in that matchup. Atlanta, I think, is it Friday night? We'll dig in a little deeper. Well, they do know their opponent. It is Michigan, but this game specifically, guys, I felt good about Auburn at half just because I thought, Creighton, they're not going to out-rebound Auburn in this one, so they're going to continue to hit this. And they shot over 40% from beyond the arc for the entire game. So impressive, 82-70 for the Auburn Tigers. Like I mentioned, Janai Broome wasn't the big point getter tonight. Only 8 points. Chad Baker-Mazara had a hip injury, but he was starting to come along there in the second half. 17 points where he went down. Denver Jones with 15. Like I mentioned, Todd Pettiford, Denver Jones set the temperature, set the ceiling, however you want to phrase it for Auburn. 23 for Todd Pettiford, 15 for Denver Jones. That's winning basketball right there for Auburn. And that's what Janai Broome only scored 8 points, and Auburn scoring 82 as a team. So let that sink in. Good win for Auburn. Moving on to the Sweet 16. Wild to say, folks. Wild to say. As good as Auburn's been, as we kind of think of this new age of college basketball, that was Bruce Pearl's only second. This will be his second appearance to the second weekend since he's been at Auburn. Since 14 was his first year at Auburn? This will be his only second appearance in the NCAA tournament in the second weekend from going to the Sweet 16 or beyond. The other year, 2019, when they went to the Final Four. So it's 19 Final Four, this year, if you're an Auburn fan, you look at it as optimism. You get past the first weekend, you go to the Final Four. So that it's something Auburn, and this isn't a shot. It's just something Auburn fans haven't experienced going to the Sweet 16 a lot. So take it all in, man. You got to embrace it. I know Auburn's the overall #1 seed. They were seeded. They were favored to get to this point, but you still got to celebrate it. It should be a fun atmosphere. Should be an Auburn home game, you feel like, in Atlanta. So that should be coming down so that should be fun starting on Friday night, I do believe. But Auburn moves on to face Michigan. Let me see. Do we have an opening line for that? They usually do a pretty good job. I'm on FanDuel, obviously. Let's see if they got any. I don't see any yet. If anybody, yeah, we do. I got them. So it's next Thursday, they're saying on FanDuel. Well, again, that's not official. But Auburn -7.5. What do we think about that line? What do we think about that line? Auburn -7.5. Michigan getting 7.5 to open up that game next week. But Auburn getting the big dub right there. Getting the big dub, heading to the Sweet 16. Again, only the second time in the Bruce Pearl era at Auburn. It's been phenomenal for them. But it's only the second time they've advanced past the first weekend. Only second time they've been to the Sweet 16 or further. So you got to soak it in. Embrace the moment if you're an Auburn fan. Enjoy it. Wake up, smell the flowers a little bit. You don't get to this every year, the Sweet 16. A lot of teams don't. Again, I always say you got to judge the SEC, and Auburn had a phenomenal regular season. One of the best we've seen in SEC history. They only have 5 losses right now. You get to enjoy, hey, that was an A+ regular season. You won the SEC regular season in the toughest conference historically. And then if you get to the Sweet 16, guys, it's a successful season to me, especially when you factor in you've won the regular season. So that's something to keep in mind. Again, would it be underachieving a little bit where you were seeded? Maybe. But again, nothing to be upset about going to the Sweet 16. I don't think it's going to end there for Auburn. I think sometimes people take it for granted, teams going to the Sweet 16, getting that second weekend, and how hard that is to accomplish that. So Auburn has a lot to be proud of between winning the SEC regular season and in the toughest year ever, and now officially getting the Sweet 16. So give Auburn credit from that perspective. Moving on. How about the Arkansas Razorbacks and John Calipari, folks? Getting the 75-66 win over Rick Pitino. Battle of former Kentucky coaches right there, folks. But big win, 75-66 win for the Razorbacks. St. John's was abysmal offensively, folks, as you can tell with the 66 points. You don't see this often either. 28% from the field is what the Red Storm shot. Let me repeat it for the people in the back, or if you had to do a double take and you spit up, I don't know, maybe you're brushing your teeth, listening to us late for you going to bed, and you almost choked on your toothpaste during that. Yeah, 28%, 21 for 75. 21 for 75 is what St. John's. I just had to repeat that. 3-point percentage, even worse. 9.1%, folks. 2 for 22 from beyond the arc. There's some teams that would have shot better blindfolded tonight than Rick Pitino and the Red Storm. Let's call a spade there. But a lot of that was because of Arkansas. Arkansas shoots 42% from the field. They only shot 10% from beyond the arc as well. St. John's actually out-rebounded Arkansas. Turnovers were very slim right there. Points in the paint, Arkansas did win that battle there. But no, I thought Billy Richmond grew up a little bit before our eyes there. coming off the bench, 16 points. He had a really good game. Carter Knox, the freshman, really stepped up for him tonight. I thought Jonas Adu's been having some good minutes. Again, he started 7.7 boards. Nelly Davis, 13 points. Boogie Flan coming off the bench with 6 points, but also had some key plays as well. Again, coming off, they've been really good in February, even in losses, folks. Arkansas fans know this. And it kind of started when Boogie Flan went down. You didn't want to say it's a blessing in disguise. But, again, this was a very thin roster coming into the season. You already have a Adu Thero out as well. Boogie Flan coming back only helps with depth, and he actually gave some pretty good minutes tonight. But, again, how about a year for John Calipari? Just looking big picture. You win at Rupp. You get to the Sweet 16 when everybody doubted you. I picked Arkansas to lose to Kansas. I've crowed eat. It's not shocking to me they're in the Sweet 16, though. I'm really not surprised by that. Again, I was never a big fan of St. John's heading into this tournament. They're good. Don't get me wrong. They won the regular season in the Big East, solid Big East year, won the tournament at Madison Square Garden. But again, I watched them multiple times this year, especially on those Sunday Big East games. They're very limited offensively, and they even exceeded my expectations of how bad they could be offensively today. I mean, I'm telling you, there's people who could shoot blindfolded better than what they shot today. All jokes aside, 28% from the field and 9.1% from beyond the arc. Come on now. Come on now. I mean, what? That's bad, folks. That's bad. But we knew that, but we didn't think we would see that poor of a performance there. But no, Arkansas, big win, big bounce back season. Again, I talk about embracing Sweet 16s. This is Arkansas, I believe, fourth Sweet 16 appearance, our fourth second weekend appearance in 5 seasons, going back to Eric Musselman, which is wild to say because the way the Musselman deal left with him going to USC, going to LA, like, remember, he went to 3 straight Sweet 16s or Elite Eights, back-to-back Elite Eights, and then went to the Sweet 16, lost to UConn in, 23? Yeah. So it's like this team has been – it's kind of the opposite of Auburn a little bit. Maybe not the opposite. Maybe that's not the right word. But from a postseason standpoint, in recent time, yes, it has been. They've gone to the second weekend of quite a ton. 4 of the last 5 years, like I mentioned. So Arkansas's had first weekend success more times than not in the last half decade. So that's amazing. I mean, they're going to they'll be advancing, moving on for the Razorbacks from that perspective. I mean, man, give Cal and them credit, man. What an amazing turnaround story heading into that one. But wow. What a win. I mean, in all seriousness, what a win. They get Texas Tech on deck next Thursday. It's saying that will be that's it. That'll be out in San Francisco. Out in San Francisco is where that will be taking place. I do believe, yeah, it'll be in San Francisco. So Texas Tech, that'll be a good matchup. Good matchup. Texas Tech a little banged up, but we'll see. Arkansas's playing good basketball right now. Still a thin roster. I think they'll probably have to play a little better than they played today to beat Texas Tech, but still, you don't have to be good that day. You don't have to. It doesn't matter what you did last game. It really doesn't. You just have to go play better than Texas Tech on Thursday. And I know that sounds like, well, no kidding, Dave. You got to score more points than the other team. But that's just how this tournament is. Who cares how you played your last game? It's the definition of survive and advance, move on. You just got to go out and play Texas Tech next Thursday in San Francisco at Oracle Arena is where they're playing. But no, I mean, guys are stepping up for Arkansas. They played physical. They were the more physical team tonight. And I think John Calipari was talking to the officials before the game. They were saying on the broadcast about, hey, watch out for St. John's. But at the same time, Arkansas had been tested in this league. It was a physical league this year. All the coaches will tell you that. The officials will tell you that. They let them play a lot. And for all the SEC's overrated standpoint, like I said, I still think it's too early to say. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Let's see what Ole Miss. Let's see what Alabama. Let's see what Florida. Let's see what Kentucky does. There's still 4 teams playing tomorrow. Let's see what they do. If we go 3-1 tomorrow, then yeah, that's 6-2. You're sending 6 teams to the Elite Eight. I mean, to the Sweet 16 round of the Sweet 16. I mean, that'd be phenomenal. That's a real possibility. Maybe it's a real possibility there. But man, Arkansas, the turnaround team. But you figured one of these teams from the SEC would kind of step up from that perspective and come out of nowhere and probably get to the round of the Sweet 16. But just because the league had been tested, you're battle tested, man. You're battle tested. And Arkansas has proven it really since the month of February. And you hate to say it because the kid's back and they need him. And he played pretty good minutes today. Is Nelly Davis when Boogie Flan went out and Nelly Davis started playing the point guard spot again like he did at FAU a couple of years ago when they went on the Final Four run. But what's next for Arkansas? We got a line on this one, I think. Yeah, Arkansas is getting 5.5. So Texas Tech's favored by 5.5. That's the early line in that one, folks. Tell me what you think about that one in the comments. So far, we got our matchups in the SEC so far for the for the Sweet 16 round. Auburn favored by 7.5. Arkansas getting 5.5 out in the West region against Texas Tech in San Francisco. But folks, before we keep moving on, this is bracket season. FanDuel is letting you make the call because right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 extra bucks to bet on everything from clutch shots to last-second heartbreaks and even who's cutting down the nets. If you've been waiting to join, there's no better time. There's tourney action almost every day, and FanDuel has amazing bet types like spreads, totals, game props, and so much more. So visit FanDuel.com/SECU and get in on the college hoops action all tourney long. Must be 21 plus in present select states or 18 and older and present in D.C. First online real money wager order, $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable. Bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with the Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York, folks. Appreciate all 600 of you. 6 would be in trouble if there were only 6 of you. But 600 of you joining us tonight. Again, big night for the SEC. 3-1. We already discussed Auburn moving on to Atlanta, getting by Creighton after Creighton shot really well, but Auburn dominated on the boards. They'll move on next week to face Michigan in the Sweet 16. Arkansas playing phenomenal basketball since February, guys. Even in some losses. I wouldn't say phenomenal, maybe a little too strong of a word, but been playing really well. Give Cal credit, phenomenal year, won at Rupp, got to the Sweet 16. They'll face Texas Tech out in San Francisco next week. But we got 2 more games to cover here. We'll start with the other winner. The Tennessee Volunteers, they just finished up. Tennessee, I thought, played really well tonight. 67-58 win over UCLA. It didn't even feel that close. Didn't feel that close. Again, Tennessee probably want to be a little bit better offensively. And again, that's what scares me for them getting to the Final Four. Maybe not even the Final Four. Well, kind of. That Elite Eight matchup against Houston, well, obviously, they have their hands full. But ultimately, probably winning the national title, like I said, all year. But Tennessee getting the 67-58 win over Mick Cronin and the boys. 42% from the field from Tennessee, 50% from beyond the arc. So it's like, well, what the turnovers end up being? Yeah, see, that's the difference right there. You actually didn't shoot bad. You just gave away possessions. 18 turnovers. Whew. That wouldn't beat Houston there. But again, like I said, you didn't have to beat Houston tonight. You have to beat You have to beat them in a week, but not tonight. So Tennessee survives and advances. Mick Cronin and the boys, who were just very average this year, really, for the most part. 35% from the field, 30% from beyond the arc. Tennessee's just better than UCLA, folks. Tennessee is plus 10 in rebounding margin. Only 11 turnovers for UCLA. I mentioned the 18 for Tennessee, which is that obviously Rick Barnes, the guys, they know that. Tennessee's largest lead in the second half, they pushed this up to 19. I thought Tennessee kind of put it away at the end of the half when they pushed that lead out to 7. It just kind of felt like UCLA had their chances in that last 4 minutes of the first half. UCLA did, and they didn't take advantage of it. I mean, they really didn't. A little inconsistent all over the place. Chaz Lanier, unbelievable. Single season 3-point shot record. Single season record for 3-pointers made is really what it was. So it's 20 points for Chaz Lanier tonight. Lanier was 4 for 5 for beyond the arc. So very productive. Like I said, 20 points, 6 of 14 from the field, 15 points for Zakai Ziegler, 13 from Jordan Gainey, who's been playing really well off the bench. If he keeps playing like that, I think Tennessee's going to have a shot to really get to the Final Four. I mean, they already do, but like he's going to have to play well for them ultimately to get there. And I think most realistic Tennessee fans would admit that. But what's next on the horizon for the Tennessee Volunteers? They'll wait. They'll wait and see who wins tomorrow's matchup between Kentucky and Illinois. That's right. We could get Kentucky, Tennessee, the Sweet 16 round into Indy. That'd be fun. There'd be a lot of orange and blue because that isn't that far in proximity, really, from both schools. That'd be fun. Third time. Kentucky's won the first 2, but if I'm Tennessee getting Kentucky for the third time, I like it. And you've already played Illinois. You beat Illinois in Champaign on a buzzer beater. Who was it? Was it Gainey? Jordan Gainey hit that, I think, runner in Champaign to win that. So Tennessee getting a massive win. Obviously, anytime you advance to the Sweet 16, it's third year in a row for Rick and the boys. Rick Barnes keeps continuing on. Phenomenal head coach, one of the best we've seen in SEC history. How much longer he goes, I don't know. But you really do. You like this team. It seems like a bunch of good guys, good program culture guys. Zakai Ziegler, you can tell they get emotional. Him and Rick Barnes' relationship special. You like this Tennessee program. Again, like I said, it just feels like they're about the right things. They really are. They're about the right things. I feel good if they play Kentucky. I do. I feel good if they play Kentucky to get to that Houston game in the Elite Eight. I do. And I like Tennessee's draw when the bracket was announced. I do. I mean, you got Wofford, then you got either UCLA or or Utah State. So it was like you like their matchups. Kentucky for a third time. I know it's always the classic cliche. It's tough to beat a team 3 times. I think Tennessee's better than Kentucky. That's wild to say, and that's wild to say. But I think it's true, even though they beat them twice. It's weird. Again, you could argue it, but I did. I'd have a hard time seeing Kentucky beat them 3 times. I like where this Tennessee team is at heading into this round of Sweet 16 in Indy. Like, man, that'd be a hard ticket to get if Kentucky wins tomorrow. In Indianapolis, just the proximity of those tickets. But Tennessee advances, keeps chugging along. One of the 3 wins for Tennessee. Again, turnovers is something Tennessee's going to have to fix down the line, obviously. And I think Jordan Gainey will continue to be key as he's going to set the ceiling offensively. And that's been my concern. We know what the defense and the rebound is going to be like under Rick Barnes, but I want to see some other stuff as well. Then finally, we will talk about the only loss of the day for the SEC. A&M dropping a game to Michigan, 91-79. Season ends for Texas A&M, 23-11. They were the 4 seed, lost the 5 seed here in Michigan. Man, you hate it for buzzing them. I'd buzzing them winning this game. Texas A&M shoots 38% from the field, 25% from beyond the arc, 43% from the field, 27% for Michigan. Michigan just out-rebounded them, man. Dominate. 48-39. I should say dominate, but +9. You got +1 in offensive rebounding. Turnovers weren't bad for either team. Only 8 for A&M, 9 for Michigan. Points in the paint, 42-34. This game, I tweeted at half, and it was 39-35 A&M. A&M was up 4 half. This game literally felt what I think everybody, if you could have scripted this game, this is what it is. I mean, it's what it was. It's exactly what it was. I thought Pharrell Payne down low was awesome, 26 points, very efficient, 10 for 13 from the field. Anderson Garcia had 11, 6 boards, 14 for Wade Taylor, 26 for Pharrell Payne, I mentioned. And didn't get much other production off the bench there. But, I mean, big picture here, I know people, end of the year reaction when the team loses, it's tough to sit here and, like, talk about this specific game because people are like, man, my team's season's over. Like, this game, I don't really want to talk about it. Michigan moves on to face Auburn in the Sweet 16. A&M, where's it go from here? I mean, I don't know. You're going to lose a lot of guys on this team. Potentially have some. I say that, but you have some decisions to be made. Could have some core guys back, but I don't know. It always feels like they've been falling short here. And I'm not saying it's going to be the Chris Jans Mississippi State level yet. We're like, hey, we just need some kind of NCAA tournament wins. I mean, Buzz is collecting some tournament wins, but I want to start seeing them go to the second weekend a little bit more consistently. That's really all I'm asking for. Aggie fans probably feel the same way. I feel like you left a little bit of meat on the bone. Michigan, good team, though. I mean, I think they're going to be a tough out for Auburn. I really do. I mean, Danny Wolf, Vlad Golden. They have a couple of former SEC players. Trey Donaldson, who played at Auburn, Amari Burnett. I don't know. I mean, I think it'll be a tough match. It'll be a more challenging matchup for Auburn than people think. Again, remember that line 7.5. For A&M, it's just got to go back to the drawing board, folks. Got to go hit the portal, see who's coming back. Decisions that need to be made. Wasn't a bad year, though. 23-11. Got a 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. Wade Taylor was out for about a week and a half. Wasn't 2 weeks, but a week and a half. Early in conference play, you dropped some. I don't know. I mean, you give this year a B? A B? I mean, wouldn't y'all? What was it? Was it 5th? Or 6th did they finish in the SEC? I'm looking at it now. Well, they finished 7. Yeah, B. That's a B. I would say that's a B, probably, for this season right there. Again, now, you're still fired up about what Buzz is doing, but I think you're going to want a little bit more tournament success. You know, like I say a lot. Very, very, felt like he left a little meat on their bone, for using an analogy there. But A&M season ends in the round of 32. Again, Michigan moves on to play Auburn in Atlanta, which I think will be a very fun matchup because they have some bodies they can throw at Janai Broom there. I mentioned, what was the other line? Did I see another line? Well, that's right. Tennessee didn't have put in Illinois, Kentucky, so that line wouldn't be out. But going to tomorrow's schedule. Remember, we got 4 more SEC teams in action, 12:10 p.m. Eastern on CBS, UConn, Florida. What do we currently got that line at? UConn, Florida right now. What? What are they not up? There it is. All right. Florida minus 8.5, folks. Florida minus 8.5 right now. I actually like Florida a lot in this game. I think people are going to be taking UConn just off the back-to-back titles, Dan Hurley, which is all fair, but I just think Florida's that good, and I think they're going to try to make a statement. I like Florida big in this one. And then we got the next one at 5:15 p.m. Eastern on CBS in Milwaukee. 6 seed Illinois, 3 seed Kentucky winner heads on to play Tennessee and Indy. Current lines, we talked a little bit about it last night with CP, but Illinois favored by 1.5. It's about the closest pick 'em we got all day, folks. But it should be a fun matchup there, man. That'll be one of the funner matchups of the day. Kind of like Illinois. I hate saying that, but I kind of like Brad Underwood and the boys in this one. It would not shock me at all if Kentucky wouldn't be. It would not be shocked in the least. And, I mean, obviously, I'm going to cheer for Kentucky. So we fear but I just like Illinois or whatever. I think Illinois advances on to play Tennessee. That'll be one of the better games of the day tomorrow. And then 6:10 p.m. Eastern on TNT in Cleveland. 7 seed St. Mary's, the Gales face the 2 seed, the Alabama Crimson Tide. Alabama currently, last time I checked, favored by, was it 5.5? Yeah, 5.5, giving St. Mary's 5.5 points. Contrast the styles here. Alabama leads the country in offensive possession. St. Mary's, I think, is like 352, 357 in offensive possessions per game. So it's like slow down, half-court style for St. Mary's. And it's Alabama. We're going to try to get as many shots, possessions as possible. And Randy Bennett and the boys, St. Mary's head coach, is not about that kind of life. So that'll be interesting from that perspective. That'll be a very fun matchup because it's just so contrasted styles. I think that game, in my opinion, folks, it's going to come down to who rebounds. St. Mary's, I think margin-wise, efficiency-wise, hold me to it, people in the comments. I think they lead the country in offensive rebounding margin. And then Alabama led the SEC most of the year in rebounding, but with Grant Nelson being out from a lot of that Robert Morris game until he came in with 8 minutes left, they got out rebounded in that game because that can't happen against St. Mary's. I think if Alabama rebounds, they will win tomorrow. And then finally, the last game, we will head to Milwaukee. Again, 2 SEC teams in Milwaukee, Kentucky and Ole Miss, but Ole Miss, 7:45 p.m. Eastern. Ole Miss, the 6 seed Ole Miss Rebels against the 3 seed Iowa State Cyclones. Fun matchup, in my opinion. 2 fun head coaches. Chris Beard, TJ Otzelberger, 2 of the younger guys. I mean, some people wouldn't consider Chris Beard young, but I do. So Chris Beard, TJ Otzelberger, that'll be a fun overall matchup. Current line for that one is Iowa State's favored by 5.5. So Ole Miss is getting 5.5. Iowa State's laying it. So I have Ole Miss. I had them going into the tournament, getting the Sweet 16, beating North Carolina, and then winning this game. It'll be interesting. Is this kind of the game where the Keyshawn Gilbert injury kind of rears its ugly head against Iowa State? That's the way I'm projecting it a little bit. Could be wrong. It should be a coaching matchup tomorrow. This is a very fun one. Along with the Nate Oates, Randy Bennett one, it's St. Mary's at 2. I think those are some very good matchups from that perspective. That anytime Dan Hurley's out there and Todd Golden as well, one of the best young coaches in college basketball. We got 4 SEC teams going tomorrow. I think the SEC is going to go 3-1 again. I think Florida, Alabama, and Ole Miss win. Wouldn't be shocked if they went 2-2 though, but should be another fun day, guys. I think the SEC goes 3-1. You got to throw all that out the window. The SEC is overrated, folks. I think Arkansas winning today, being the most physical team against a physical St. John's team who swept the Big East, and when I mean swept, won the regular season, won the conference tournament in the Garden. That says something about this league and a very thin roster for Arkansas. So I think that shows the depth of the league. Remember, folks, up until then, Missouri was really the only team in this league it lost that was a true favorite. Mississippi State, Baylor was a pick-em, essentially. Texas was in a play-in game. Georgia was not favored to beat Gonzaga. Now, did they play terrible? Yeah, but they weren't favored. So all this is very – again, I don't think we have an answer yet. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Tomorrow's a big day. SEC went 3-1. You match that. You go 6-2. A lot of that, the naysayers got to shut up. Going to a couple of comments here, folks. Jeremy Scott, Roll Tide. He'll be fired up to watch the Crimson Tide at 6:10 p.m. Eastern at St. Mary's tomorrow. David Speaks. My Vols are going to Sweet 16. Yes, they are. Guys, do not take Rick Barnes for granted. I'm not saying you do, David. I'm just saying some people in your fan base do, and I don't like when that happens. I think he's one of the best of all time. Prentice Jones says, War Damn Eagle. Auburn Tigers going to the Sweet 16 for the second time under Bruce Pearl. David Speaks, Chaz Lanier came to play and had 20 on 4 or 5. He did. Shot really well tonight. That keeps up. Good news for the Vols. Prentice Jones, this was the defense. I agree. Big Orange, good old Rocky Top. Big Orange again. Go Vols. David Speaks. Arkansas is surprising considering how they played this year and down the stretch before the tournament. I mean, I thought they were playing well in February, David. If I'm being completely honest with you, let me put your comment back up. I'm sorry. I thought they were playing well since February, even some losses. I really did. I thought they took Auburn down to the wire at Auburn, came back against Alabama after being down 18-20. I was impressed, even in some losses. Then Tennessee Junior says, go big F in Orange. Great day to be a Vol. And then Zach Fisher, Houston seeing who their 4 possible opponents are in Indianapolis and wondering what basketball gods they offended. Yeah, because it could be Houston, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Purdue. And you're almost like Houston may have the least amount of fans. I'm guessing. I mean, because think about it. West Lafayette, short drive to Indianapolis. I mean, Lexington's not far. Knoxville's not that far in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, Houston, you're right. That is very interesting there. No, you're 100% right. Then Tennessee Junior says, baseballs take the series in basketball since UCLA home. But yes, sir. Guys, we'll be back tomorrow night after the Ole Miss one. We won't be as late because, again, Ole Miss tips off at, what time do we say it officially? 7:45. So we're going to have some 9:40 tip. And again, we love staying up as late as possible. It won't be as late tomorrow night on a Sunday night as well, guys. But for Dave Shumate reacting to the SEC 3-1, we already have 3 SEC teams that have punched their tickets to the Final Four. Arkansas, Auburn, and Tennessee. Congratulations to all 3 of those programs. But remember, this reaction brought to you by our proud title sponsor, FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com/SECU to join today and get started with $200 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet. Guys, I appreciate you joining us. You have a phenomenal Sunday afternoon. I cannot wait to see you tomorrow night. And Chris Phillips should be with us as well. But until then, let's have a day, folks.